Very welcome back, everyone, to the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. We're just going to follow up on sort of the final part of the most recent trial, the tendency to persuade someone not to give evidence. We will repeat once again, total disgrace that this amount of money, time, effort and resources was put into such a pathetic attempt to throw some dirt at and besmirch Aaron's name and indeed the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. So we have covered it to a certain degree, and what we are going to do now is put up the evidence that was used. In particular now we're going to look at the evidence, the young man that was co-accused with Aaron, Mr. Dean Byrne, and how pathetic the case was against this young man, and how he was made an absolute scapegoat for our legal system. So this is the conversation between an inmate, who is Dean Byrne, the co-accused of Aaron, who was in Mountjoy prison at the same time as Aaron, and in the relevant time period, we're dealing from April to June 2020. And I've just shown Dean Byrne as MJ, so that's short for Mountjoy, on the charts we're going to see. And we will publish the charts on all the sites so everyone can scrutinise them and have a look at what it is that the authorities brought the case against this young man. And A on this first set of charts is represents a friend of Dean Byrne's, who was outside the prison and living in Dublin. And indeed, this man is a first cousin of Daniel Cahill's. Now, the chart will detail who sent, who received the communications, and the date of each message is also given. And indeed, when we scrutinise the validity of the charges against these men, we can see quite clearly the dates will be very important. A lot of these messages are quite innocuous, and so we should be able to run through them relatively quickly. So here's the first chart up here, and very quickly you can see the text. There's 1 to 50, that's the number of texts. The date, as I said, is relevant. In green is where the text message or voicemail is from. 2 is obviously in the red, who received the message, and whether it's a voice or a text. So we'll run through page 1 fairly quickly, and we will stop and scrutinise some of the information and the detail in the text messages as we go through them, their relevance and how they were perceived and how they could be perceived and the reality behind it all. So obviously there's a couple of missed calls there from Mountjoy to the person on the outside of the prison, and then the message 4 there, ring me, and then message 5 as soon as possible. There's a missed call again at point number 6, text number 6. And then the first interaction from outside the prison to Dean Byrne is, what's up, bro? And there's a voice call then, and obviously we don't have the details of the voice call, but as you see, it's obviously or possibly a conversation about Daniel Cahill's involvement in telling lies and perjuring himself during the course of Aaron's trial. So we move on then to the 9th of the 4th, and this is the 9th of April 2020. Now this is all happens within a few days, and then there's a gap, but we'll come to that as we move through the dates. Did you say that to him, bro? And this is the person in the prisoner asking the man outside, did you say that to him, bro? Next text message is, what's up, bro? Did you say that? Then there's a missed call, and this is the first text message from outside the prison. This is from Daniel Cahill's first cousin back into the prison. What's up? Was on to Dano and Edo. Say they didn't say anything to Homeland Security in the statements. So obviously there has been some sort of communication with Daniel Cahill, and there's mention in Edo Kieran there. Daniel Cahill was accompanied by Edo Kieran and 2 other men the night Daniel Cahill attacked Aaron in 28 First Street in New York. An event that Daniel Cahill denied and purged himself about during the course of his testimony. And then we have a message number 14 from Mountjoy back out to this person. It's not nice. He doesn't want it to go that way. So this is initially that what Dean Byrne is saying here. They don't want it to go that way. They don't want any aggravation or any coercion. That is not the way that Aaron or indeed Dean Byrne was seeing this conversation going in any way, shape or form, which will become apparent. And again, this is from inside the prison, number 15. Don't send them to anyone. Don't send it, please. I beg you, don't send them on to Dano. Fall back on the young fella. And as you go through the text message, we'll see here that we're actually speaking about the safe statements belonging to from Daniel Cahill's statement, 2 pages where pictures of them were sent to the outside of the prison. And we'll deal with that as we go through these text messages. So that is what is being discussed here. And then there's confirmation from outside the prison to Mountjoy, my life won't let Dano see anything. And again, if we look at that, if there was an attempt to coerce or put pressure on Daniel Cahill, the first thing you would be doing is showing, listen, there's your statement, this has to stop. And from the very outset, from the first communication in relation to this, now there, I suppose it's important to say here, we are talking from April 2020. We do know this phone was in use by this person from January. There was hundreds and hundreds of messages to friends, girlfriend, family in that period. Nothing whatsoever got to do with Daniel Cahill or Aaron. So that's very important to note here that this is the actual beginning, and then we'll see the actual end of this conversation. So nothing can be inferred from before or after. We can see the conversations beginning and we'll be able to see its end. You don't need to show them to whoever you want. Don't give to anyone. And then this is where the pictures are, the final page of Cahill's statement and the first page of Cahill's statement. And then there's a missed call, that's at number 20 there. And then we have from outside the prison, as you can see at 21, the messaging is no bother, just seen, and Dano's da. And then there was a problem with the final page, and the final page was sent again. So all was sent as the first page and the last page, and it was sent as proof, if you like, to confirm that Daniel Cahill had given a statement. Contrary to what was said in the text above at text number 12, as you can see there, WhatsApp bro, on to Dano and Edo, say they didn't say anything to Homeland Security in the statements. So the statements were sent out, the front page and the last page, to confirm that they had said, or that Cahill had said stuff in a statement to Homeland Security. And this is a good time to underline exactly the situation as it was at this time in April 2020. Aaron was sitting in a prison cell in Mountjoy, looking at a statement from a criminal, drug dealer, a man who'd attacked people with machetes, a man who had attacked Aaron violently, along with 3 of his friends, and threatened to cut off Aaron's toes with a standing knife. And Aaron was looking at the statement and the lies this man told to save his life in America. So that's the underlying, that is the foundation of all this. And we cannot get away from that. Now, if anyone on this island expected Aaron to sit down and take this, or indeed us, his family, to sit down and just take the words of a man who promotes paedophilia and sex trafficking of children, if you think that is reasonable, you're greatly mistaken as regards the Brady family and Aaron Brady. So that is the cornerstone of what Aaron's looking at here. And yet, from the very outset, we can see that there is no threat, there's no coercion, there's no sense of fear being put upon these people. None whatsoever. Now, obviously, we're in a prison situation. We're dealing with people, as Mr. Stain said himself, from a certain area of Dublin, and they would have a certain language and dialect for speaking about such matters if people were to be, shall we say, dealt with. And that is nowhere to be seen in these text messages. So it's very important to keep that foundation in your mind as we go through what we see here. We move to just the bottom of the page there, number 24. What's up, brother? I was talking to Brady out in the yard. Yeah, he says fucking Dano got caught with a bit of green over there, had a couple or three plants or something. I'm just going to slide up now, so we're just going to move the page here for you. Something, and the authorities came, raided it or something like that. I don't know, but he says he'd get his father to meet Dano's father or something and sort it out, like, because fucking never did anything wrong. Like, he never said anything or anything like that. Do you get me? He said get his father to meet up with Dano's father and explain, like, do you get me? Right, let me know, will you, bro? Nice one. So, again, very important paragraph here, because there's a number of issues in it. First, we can see very clearly that Dean Byrne is of the opinion that Aaron never did anything or never said anything to Dano, as Daniel Cahill is alleging in these statements. And that is the foundation of our entire campaign. The star witness, the man accredited with sending our son to prison for 40 years based on a tissue of lies. Now, there's also some communications there of Dano's father meeting me, Aaron Brady's father. Obviously, that's me. We were making our own inquiries, and we've spoken to numerous people in around the Coolock area and different people who had interactions with Cahill and some of his friends. Now, we could go into a litany of hearsay about Daniel Cahill, what he done and what he didn't do, and what people said he done, what people said he was involved in. But then again, we can't do that because that is hearsay. And nobody should be judged on hearsay. And I think that is a legal precedent when there is no direct evidence of it, which we have shown quite clearly. Anything we have said about Daniel Cahill, up to his most recent video, again, I have to mention it, where he describes his fondness for opening a pizza shop where he'd have children in underneath and he could sell them repeatedly. And it was more profitable than selling cocaine or marijuana. We have shown that he was involved in a machete attack of a group of people, Irish people in New York. We know, and as Aaron has mentioned in the message, he was caught with marijuana and indeed steroids, which we later found out. So everything we have told you about Cahill is proven. We were fully aware that he was stabbed numerous times. We knew that back in 2020, that he was stabbed before he left Dublin. We didn't have the proof until Cahill came out himself and told us, I was stabbed 5 or 6 times, or 7 times. Arm, leg, stomach, wherever he was stabbed. All vital information that was hidden from Aaron's defence team. And again, there's only a willingness in this message here, message number 24, to maybe pursue the possibility of myself meeting Daniel Cahill's father. But as we go through the message, we see how that develops. Again, from Mountjoy Prison, we're going to move to message 25. What's up? Where you're talking to Dano, is he still going to do that, bro? Now, there's a couple of 26 and 27. The messages, nothing got to do with Aaron Brady or Daniel Cahill. I think they're just pictures of a group logo. So it's nothing got to do with Aaron. We move to 28. What's up? Where are you talking to Dano? And at point number 29, talking to him on Sunday, going to see his dad on Sunday to sort this shit out. So this is Cahill's cousin, and he was going to speak to Daniel Cahill's father on the Sunday to try and sort this out, and you'll see what he means by that, hopefully arranging for myself and Cahill's father to speak. Yeah, it's text number 30. Yeah, thanks. Did he say he was still going ahead? And then at 31 here, going ahead with what? Does it say he's going ahead? Yeah, he is giving evidence. At number 33, no bother. I thought he just made statements, didn't know he was on the witness list. Text number 34, yeah, he is. Thanks. So there's some confusion as to whether Cahill is actually given evidence, it would appear. And from what we know from the witness statements in this case, Cahill's family had no real knowledge of Cahill coming forward to tell these lies and purge himself during the course of Aaron's trial. So there was some confusion between outside the prison and inside the prison, as if, is Daniel Cahill coming to give evidence? The train of thought on the outside was that no, he wasn't coming. We go to number 36, and this is the 15th of April. We just moved on a few days, so we're about a week on from the very first text message in this group here. Was talking to Dan O'Star, send them to his ma and auntie, nothing got to do with me. So Daniel Cahill's father has washed his hands of it, and he said, go and speak to his auntie and his ma, they'll listen to him. So, and again, as I said, the father said, there's nothing got to do with me. So his father had washed his hands of the situation. And unfortunately, the meeting between myself and Daniel Cahill's father never took place. And my reasoning for meeting Mr. Cahill's father would have been to find out if what we had heard in relation to his activities prior to being stabbed was true. Could we give some credence to it? His interactions with An Garda Síochána and other groups that were active in the Coolock area in 2009, 10, 11, 12 and 13. So we were looking into the details. That is the information we were looking for. Information that was being withheld from us in respect of An Garda Síochána and the DPP. Don't know, bro. Not sure what he's going to do. At the end of the day, he's over there. So again, it's a relatively weak conversation. There's no sense of urgency as to any pressure, coercion, fear, bribery even. Nothing of that sort is in this conversation. So the man on the outside, excuse me, excuse me. So the man on the outside, Daniel Cahill's cousin, is saying, well, it's nothing got to do with me. He's over there. He's going to do what he's going to do. And it's as simple as that. Yeah, I know, bro, but can none of you talk to him and ask him not to do it? If the fella never did anything because the fell out, he's doing that. It's just not nice, bro. So again, we can see here quite clearly, Dean is saying, you know, it's not nice. The fell out, and this is a direct reference. And again, as with Aaron's campaign continually, as more new evidence and more new details come out, they fell out over there. So that's obviously quite, a reference to Daniel Cahill attacking Aaron, along with Ado Kieran, Davy Cushion and Anthony Maguire. Those four men attacked Aaron, beat him in his own room, and Daniel Cahill threatened to cut off Aaron's toes. And the reason why that is so important, again, because Aaron's campaign and the details we are given follow and are can be collated, is that because that fact is true, it renders the rest of Daniel Cahill's testimony and statements a tissue of lies. Because if someone has attacked you and threatened to cut off your toes, you're not going to sit and have cosy chats with them. So it is as simple as that. Don't give them them statements. We're on now to 41. Don't give them statements. Don't send them statements. Do you get me? Just, we don't need them to have them. Do you get me? He knows you know. Do you get me? We don't need them to have them, but bro, I ask you, please, don't send him them statements. Just don't show them to them. Do you get me? Just show us Da and all and whoever else, but don't send them over to Dano or anything, will you not, bro? Nice one. So he's asking, again, not putting any direct pressure onto Daniel Cahill, and there's a clear view there that not to put anything specifically or directly to Daniel Cahill. So and this is why the whole charges, and this is why the DPP and Garda Síochána done horse trading in respect of the charges. I think at the beginning of all these charges, this young man was intimidation, intention to pervert the course of justice, coercion, and all sorts of very serious words used in the charges against this young man. And yet, at the end of the day, because there is no evidence, it was reduced down to a tendency to persuade Daniel Cahill not to give evidence. And from the text messages, you can see it's possible that the cousin on the outside of the prison did maybe make some contact with Daniel Cahill. But it must be stressed, Daniel Cahill made no complaint, or there was no suggestion from Lorcan Stain, from the prosecution, that this star, robust witness ever said anything, Cahill, that he ever said anything about anyone approaching him. And indeed, when we talk about Cahill's ma and his auntie, these two ladies give evidence that nobody, or there was no approach by anyone in respect of Cahill coming to give evidence. So there's simply, as we have said from the very beginning, there is no crime actually committed, and therefore there is no victim. And all this took place on the strength of these text messages, and that's it. We'll finish up now at the Promise Bro. We're 42 now, so we're on to a new sheet. Promise Bro, Dano won't see any of these days. He's not that close to me. Get on to his ma or auntie. He listens to them. So there again, we have that alluding to his ma and his auntie. And again, I repeat, these two ladies give statements to say that no one approached them or put them under any pressure or any stress in relation to Dano giving evidence. And how can I get on to them, bro? Leave it with me. I'll try and get them. And then there was a thumbs up. Now, this is very important here. Now, you can see message 45 was on the 16th of April. So everything was after happening. All the messages, the 45 messages we're after looking at there, took place in those 8 days. And we are now actually moving to the 6th of June before there was any other communications in respect of Daniel Cahill. And again, this is very, very important because we're led to believe, and I'm sure many in the public believe, that this was a sustained campaign of intimidation run by Aaron Brady and the Bradys. A tissue of lies and clickbait prosecution and clickbait journalism. And here we have April, May, June, 6-7 weeks and no communication. And again, to confirm that this phone was highly active in the prison between the 16th of April and the 6th of June. Hundreds of messages. Facebook, normal messages, voice messages. Nothing got to do with Aaron Brady or Daniel Cahill. So there was no sustained campaign. And as you can see, there was no orchestrated intimidation of anyone. And it's important to mention here that this young man, Dean Byrne, he was arrested too and charged with intimidation of Daniel Cahill and Ronan Flynn. But of course, there's absolutely no word of Ronan Flynn whatsoever in respect of these messages here. And no connection between Ronan and anyone involved with Dean Byrne. So he's not even mentioned in Dean Byrne's charge anymore. It's as simple as that. That has been erased also. So we move on then to the 6th of June, message number 46. What's up, bro? He's doing that this week. Will you try and talk to him? It's not on, bro. He's doing that on Monday. So that's Mountjoy, the prisoner of Mountjoy, telling Daniel Cahill's cousin on the outside that he's doing it. And the cousin says, I'll say it to him again, but whether he listens or not, don't know, bro. And then Mountjoy says, I think he's making a show of himself. He's going to be all over the telly. And the response to that there is, text him there, bro. I know he's blackening his name. Let you know what he says. And that is the end of that communication between those people. So that is the height of the case. There was never any intimidation put forward, coercion, bribery, or anything towards Daniel Cahill. And I would say once again, there was a complete and total scapegoat made of the young man that is co-accused with Aaron. Now, the second person that was involved, again, we're going to look at, just bring this up here. And this is a brief one. I'm just going to go through the voice clips on this and one message. Below are the transcripts of communications between an inmate in Mountjoy Prison. Again, I've that down as MJ, and that is Dean Byrne, and a person outside the prison. So this is the second person who we've called S. So this voice clip is on the 22nd of June 2020. What's up, S? What's the crack, son? Did you see that on teletext about Dano? He's giving evidence against Brady, the fucking rat cunt. He's saying Brady told him that he killed the copper, and Brady never even said that to him. He's giving evidence he is from America today. Duckboard. It's on teletext. Filth bag, rat, bastard of a thing. So obviously that's from Mountjoy to outside the prison. And again, because Dean Byrne and Dean Byrne's defence team raised this point, the men's raid, the mental belief and what Dean Byrne genuinely believed, and Dean Byrne believed the truth. Daniel Cahill was coming to tell lies to purge himself and to frame our son. So all those things in that message that is said about Daniel Cahill, I have no problem concurring with all those. And indeed, the Bradys could add several more to it. Voice clip, this on 22nd of June also, and this is from outside of the prison back into Mountjoy. I already heard it. I seen the screens. I seen the pictures of his statements he gave, and someone sent us pictures of the book. I seen everything. Yeah, the dartboard. Who was it? A fella in America, Brady. Brady, was it? I seen me and the other lad got jokes sent to us over like his statements. So this is another person on the outside, and they're talking about what Daniel Cahill's doing, and there's no suggestion that anything should happen Daniel Cahill. There's no direction, no suggestion, no hints from inside the prison that something should happen to Daniel Cahill. But then we have this text here, and you can see there's money symbols, the text, I'd find them, and a winky face. And we just go on directly now on to the voice clip 3. Yeah, I got the statements. I sent the statements to DO. Yeah, I sent them statements to DO. I did. Yeah, Brady, he's here. Yeah, he's in over fucking shooting the copper in the dock. Remember, in 2013 or something, fucking, he's a smelly bastard cunt of a thing. Now, there was some discussion as to whether that message is, that last line, that smelly bastard cunt of a thing, is in relation to Aaron, but we do feel it's in relation to Daniel Cahill. And then if we go to the next voice clip, and again, this is the important one here. Put the number up, and I'll go look for him, and I'll go look for him. I have one person that probably already knows where he is over there, across to where he's living, and yeah, I'll do damage to him. And then very quickly after that was another message. He did dirt on me as well. that dirty little. So those two voice clips are from outside the prison back into the prison. And as you can see there, those text messages were never replied to. Now, whether before, after, or otherwise, if there was any intention whatsoever to intimidate, put fear in, bribe, or anything to Daniel Cahill, that was the opportunity. He's saying quite clearly, I'll do damage to him, and that was not taken up by the either Aaron or Aaron's friend inside the prison. Because as you can see from all the text messages, there was never, ever any indication that there was violence, threats, or coercion to be used against Daniel Cahill. And finally, to see how you put up here, this is from courts.ie, and this is how, well, it's not how it was reported on. This was the words of Lokenstein, the prosecution counsel in Dean Byrne's case. Garda killer Aaron Brady orchestrated a campaign of witness intimidation during his 2020 trial for the murder of Detective Guard Adrian Donoghue, while his alleged conspirator was an enthusiastic cheerleader for attempts to stop who he terms rats from giving evidence. Prosecution barrister has told the Special Criminal Court. So the evidence is in total there. That is the total evidence against Dean Byrne. And in some way, Stein believes that this young man, Dean Byrne, was an enthusiastic cheerleader. Now, if there was much enthusiasm in any of those messages, and we will put them, link them directly to this video, and everyone can look at them in their entirety and in your own time. If there is any enthusiasm for intimidation in any of those messages, we say not one iota, not one scintilla. And indeed, I will go back to what Dean Byrne's defence barrister said in closing last Thursday. He said, Mr. Stein has mentioned on a number of occasions that Aaron Brady and his associates embarked on a campaign of intimidation of witnesses. And he said quite clearly, he says, we have not seen one scintilla of evidence of any intimidation. Now, the opportunity was there, and Aaron and this young man, unfortunate man who is being persecuted by the DPP, the opportunity was there for them. All they had to do was put a thumbs up, say yes. And that would have been a clear case of intimidation or intent to intimidate. And that is why these bastards orchestrated and done horse trading, I will say again, on the memory of their colleague. The charges were most serious and most severe when these people were charged. And indeed, I'm not sure of my charge when I went in to meet on Garda Síochána in Carrickmacross, but I do believe I was charged with intent to intimidate Ronan Flynn and Daniel Cahill. Not a word about it. These people, it was we were told in court last Thursday, had access to all my emails, access to some of the girls' emails, access to all our phones, access to phones and emails belonging to the Flynn family, and not one scintilla of evidence that there was any form of inappropriate intimidation or inappropriate approaches to anyone, because it simply never happened. We have investigated and we have shown that Daniel Cahill is a pathetic liar. We can show clearly that Daniel Cahill told a tissue of lies to save his own skin in America, because the people who stabbed him before he left Dublin may very well have ideas of finishing the job when he returns back to Dublin. So that was his incentive, plus cash, and plus he could have been sent to jail in America for drugs, steroids, and machete attack. Machete and knife attack. So that's the case that this young man faces. It will be interesting to see how that develops. Over the coming week, we will be looking into more depth in respect to the other part of this court case where Aaron has pleaded guilty to recording the video of Ronan, given his statement, but we'll go into that in much more detail in the coming week. Please see the list of the text messages below. And again, engage, ask questions, and the cornerstone and the foundation of all this, what we're doing in Aaron's campaign and Aaron's attempt to contact Daniel Cahill's family, is that Daniel Cahill was telling lies. Daniel Cahill was framing our son. He was put under pressure by Mark Phillips and the Irish authorities. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment and share. We've been very, very heavily censored on all platforms, and we do need your help to get Aaron's story out there and keep the pressure on the Irish authorities. As we say, all we're looking for is these questions to be asked and the whole story to be told. And then we will seek and find the truth. Thank you once again, and we'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.